Hey, don't wake me up if I'm dreaming, but this is J. Anthony Frankie, and you're listening to On the Fly with Stevie and Warden. Cheers.
You are listening to On the Fly.
Hey, don't wake me up if I'm
What's up,
dreaming, but
guys?
this is J. Anthony Frankie, and you're listening to
time
On
for
the
On the
Fly
Fly again
with
this
Stevie and
week.
Warden. Cheers.
Coming at you live.
Coming at you live. You had to throw that in.
Yes, I did.
That was a good one there. And tonight, you can notice we are joined by somebody new, and it made this place a lot prettier, for sure. God knows it made this place a lot prettier. With us tonight for this special episode, making her podcast debut, is my daughter, Mallory Fly. How you doing, Mallory?
I'm pretty darn good, I guess.
Pretty darn good. I can look right over my shoulder.
Good.
It's like you're right over my shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Right on my shoulder too. Like,
tonight, our main event tonight is top 10, whatever you want to call it, the chicks. Yes, Warden, I got it right. The chicks.
I still call them Dixie Chicks. I
mean, it's
yeah.
like the Redskins. I mean, they're not the Commanders, they're the Redskins.
Nah, don't compare the Dixie to the Reds. God, don't even bring up Washington. Or as Tom Landry would call them, Washington. Don't bring up that. Nah.
I got you.
It's bad enough to talk about the Eagles. I don't want to hear about Washington.
Well, I know you're pretty happy this week. Your Cowboys get a win.
Now we're lucky.
Yeah, well, I mean, they weren't supposed to win that game.
It just shows you how bad the Bengals are. And I kept saying Bengals. But it shows you how, I mean, they got lucky. And I keep hearing Jerry, oh, Dak's coming back. I'll go, is that a good thing? So
I did read tonight that Jerry was talking about pondering a situation. Let me see. Jerry ponders quarterback controversy. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones raises the notion of Cooper Rush playing well enough to prevent Dak Prescott from regaining the starting job. So in other words, Tony Romo again.
I don't know, man. Dallas is such a joke. And Dak Prescott's making how much, and Cooper Rush is probably making the minimum. And you want that's just typical Jerry. It's always got to be a circus. I mean, I love my Cowboys. So the day I die, I drink the Kool-Aid. I'm in the cult, whatever you want to call it. I know you are. I'm a fan because that's the team my first favorite team. Even though watching your dang Steelers kick my butt, those Super Bowls. But no, Dallas is just a joke. It's just Jerry's like a carnival barker. He's kind of like a lot of politicians. They're not in the limelight.
Right.
But they keep it on them, and they keep in the news. That's what Jerry's doing. He knows his team is horrible. Him and Steven messed up by getting rid of a lot of the keys. They probably won't win the next. I don't know if they win another game. I mean, it'd be great if they beat the Giants, but the Eagles look good. And I'm telling everybody, well, they're in the NFL East, so don't get too excited. Dallas looked good a lot of years too, and they, but I don't know.
So now that we're past the Dallas Cowboy part of our episode, talk a little bit about your adventure last week. We had our top 10 Tesla songs last week. Warden got to go see them last week, and it was kind of up in the air until what time did you actually find out?
They canceled a show in Lubbock, which is about, Texas is so big that, you can probably get to Louisiana before you can Lubbock, because Lubbock's up in the way up there. It's like about 9 hours away, and I mean, I could be exaggerating, but I guess he had you're the one that texted me that about him. I hadn't heard nothing. And I see Frank Cannon on there, on Facebook. And then not till like 11 or 12, between 11 and 12, the day of the show. I know you texted me. People were always asking like, what's going on? And of course you got those people that, don't know nothing. Oh, it's canceled, And I mean, and then they said, I got the thing about 11 o'clock. The show's on. The show must go on, as Queen would say.
Yep.
But the place is it's a small theater. I think I sent you some pictures of it. I put it on Facebook.
Yeah, you did.
It used to be a movie theater, and according to my boss, I think there was even like an X-rated movie theater back in the 70s, because how things were back then. And it's a cool little place. I saw Sammy Hagar there. back in December. But the night we went there, George Lopez was playing across the street. They had a UTSA game, so downtown was crowded, and it sucked. So last week, there was nothing going on downtown, hardly anybody down there, and got in, and it was great. The much older crowd. I mean, crowd was kind of older than me, and
yeah, I kind of figured it was going to be.
I mean, they were older than me, and I'm 50, so it's like. But I noticed that one of them were like a lot of them were out of shape, but man, they had their beer going up those stairs, and I didn't drink because I don't really drink anymore. But it's like, and a lot of them were dressed like it was still the 80s. You always see that in a lot of concerts. But a couple bands that came on. The first opening band was from Texas. They were pretty good. They I don't remember the name. I'm bad with names.
They were good. I don't remember the name.
The next band, I don't know. He kind of looked like I sent you that picture. He kind of looked like Buff Bagwell. Remember how Buff Bagwell used to wear that top hat in WCW? That's all I could think of. That's Buff Bagwell. They were okay. They weren't. It wasn't like when I saw Whitford St. Holmes with Open Up for Whitesnake. You knew who that is, right?
Oh yeah,
that was memorable. That was an opening band. But this one, Tesla came out to Modern Day Cowboy. It's still. The only thing it was kind of missing for that song was the pyro, because I saw them in 92, 93 with Firehouse. They were playing much bigger arenas, and I think that was before. I think that was between 5-Man Acoustical Electrical Jam and Edison or Psychotic Supper. But great set list, kind of different from what was on there. But they played the hits. They played.
They played Love Song.
They played Love Song. They didn't play Paradise, which is my favorite.
That was a letdown.
They played Edison's Medicine, and they had, half the people there are probably like, "Who's this Tesla guy?" Because he was never taught in school. But they played. I wish they would have played Lady Luck. They didn't play Lady Luck. They played Hanging. They played Hang Tough. I mean, just great. If you're a Tesla fan, there wasn't too much you didn't know. I think they played a couple new songs that people weren't too excited about, but it was sold out. It's not a very big theater, but man, it was great. And like I said, I don't usually buy T-shirts, but this is like one of my favorite bands. And we were leaving, and it's downtown, and there was this big old, I say kid. He was probably, a little bit older than Mallory. He had to be like Andre the Giant size. This is a big dude. And he was in the door looking outside, and one of the other ones go, "Hey, get out of the way." And he got back, and I go, "I wasn't going to tell you to move. I ain't going to mess with you, dude." There were like 7 SAPD guys outside. They had the bike patrol downtown and stuff. And we're walking out, and man, this guy's on the ground, beat up, hands again. He's handcuffed down on the ground.
Police brutality.
Yeah, and he's like, he's older than me, and I'm like, dude, it's time to grow up and quit fighting.
Yeah,
and
some
it's like
people would never grow up, Ward.
And the only thing I could say, this poor guy's on the ground. Probably did. He looked like he got the worst of it. I go, man, I guess love ain't on the way for you, brother. You're gonna be in jail tonight. But great show. I think their show's ending. They only got a few shows. I think they got some kind of festival coming up. But I hope they tour again soon. I'll go see them again. I was thinking that all my concerts are done, but after seeing like this and Sammy, I think I'll probably stick to the smaller,
Yeah, I would. That's probably what I like.
Like I said, if Kiss does a close show, I'll probably go see it. I don't know if they will or not. But yeah, these are fun, and these aren't necessarily new artists, but these are still artists I like to support.
Oh yeah.
They don't have
of course.
They don't have the budget Kiss does. They don't have the Aerosmith, but God, Tesla. And you talk about the bands our age, they're all dead, all the grunge bands. But Tesla, their guys are in their 60s. I didn't know that. They were. It was like, wow, they're 10 years. I guess it's kind of the same age break. But yeah, that's my little review. It was great. Like I said, not too many songs you didn't know. People pretty much knew it. People were going crazy, man. I was hoping at the end of Heaven's Trail, he would have said, on a slick trip, I'm always ready to smoke grass. But he doesn't say that anymore. I guess Jeff Key doesn't maybe do it anymore. But he sounded, he's never been what you call it. He's not David Coverdale in his prime. No. But he fits the band. So he's like, He's
That's
like Mick
their
Jagger.
sound, man. That's
He's like
their
Mick
sound.
Jagger in the Stones. He fits the band.
Yeah, that's their sound. I mean, I couldn't see anybody else singing for them. Let's ask Mallory this question. We talked about this last week. You have any idea who Nikola Tesla is?
I have no clue.
He
The only
did
thing
invent
you
the
know
car.
about
About
Tesla
the car.
is the car, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's the only thing.
yeah. So
That is, and I work in, and
Yep.
I don't know. I think that's very bad. I used to drive my teachers crazy when I was younger than her, Mallory. Hey, you knew Nikolai Tesla is? Because I knew about the band, had told me about it. Well, no, Marconi. No, it was Nikolai Tesla. Yeah. Edison screwed him, and I was, of course,
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
know it all. Yeah.
we were talking last week about the only reason people really knew who Nikola Tesla was because of the band, and unless you were like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory or something, he might know who he is. But anyway,
There's some movies about him too that I read a few books, but I guess the one that most known is The Prestige is, I think, was it David Bowie that played him with Hugh
don't know.
Jackman? I think it was like Hugh Jackman. I think Bowie. I'd never seen it, but I think Bowie. And it's funny when you look on YouTube and you're looking up Tesla videos, all this stuff about Nikolai Tesla comes off like, oh, the diary. So it's like, yeah. So if you're ever out there and you don't know who Nikolai Tesla is, but you know who the band is, I don't know how that's happening. Look him up. I mean,
Yeah.
our bills would probably be a lot cheaper if he had his way because we'd have free electricity.
Yep. So, moving on, Tesla show was good. I'm glad you had a good time. Glad it went on because we were kind of worried about that last week.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was great.
in the news, we just saw this. Journey, former Journey frontman Steve Perry, is suing Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain, who are currently in Journey, over Journey songs. It says Perry has filed a petition to cancel trademark registrations for 20 Journey songs filed by former bandmates Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean. The motion involves some of the group's best-known radio favorites, including Separate Ways, Open Arms, Any Way You Want It, Who's Crying Now, When You Love a Woman, and others. His petition says Cain and Sean filed to register the songs in 2020 for use on hats, T-shirts, athletic jackets, and other paraphernalia.
They're hanging out with Gene Simmons, I guess.
Yeah. Guidelines remain in place on songs where Perry is a sole credit songwriter, including "Hopelessly in Love," "Stay a While," "Loving," "Touching," "Squeezing" from the filing.
So they're trying to. I'm not a Journey fan, but they're trying to use the songs he wrote. They're trying to do that too.
Yeah, I mean
That's a ballsy move.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of crappy. Songs he wrote and songs he was a part of too. What it
Wow.
is, they're using Journey's biggest hits, and of course, I mean you can't do that and not give the guy. He's got to get something out of it. I mean, I would be kind of ticked. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And
it's
everybody
kinda-
thinks Steve Perry is the bad guy in the whole Journey deal, but you know, I think it's 50-50 there. I think
that's excuse my French, that's a ballsy move on them. I mean, that's like,
well,
they had to know he would say something.
yeah. I mean, he's going to find out for sure. But
Wow.
you know, I think this pretty much seals the deal that there will be no Journey reunion anytime soon, or no. Shut up. Check his papers.
Thank you. No, just kidding. I'm like I said, I mean,
I know you're not a fan.
but you don't do that to Steve Perry. I'm sorry.
No.
I mean, I'm not a big Journey fan, but I do like some songs. I play it off. But I honestly like Steve Perry's solo stuff almost better than any Journey song. Like, Stone in Love and, Sherry or whatever. And that's one song he did in the 90s. But man, that would be like Gina Paul trying to like do that for Parasite or something. Cold Gin or no.
How about
Cold
Shock
Gin?
Me? Yeah, they
could have that one though. I guess if they did a thing for leather gloves, or something. The OJ glove.
My gosh, really?
Yeah, I went there.
So, some other news. Not much chance of a new Eagles music. Timothy B. Schmidt points to disappointing reaction to Long Road Out of Eden songs on tour. So, may not see any more Eagles new music.
Did Do we really need more Eagles music?
No, not really.
I mean, their catalog is so great, man. I mean,
Yeah. But you still like to hear some new stuff. But
no, not all of us.
I would. Neil Sean is calling Steve's Ferry Journey Legal Action total crap.
Well, of course he is. What he's going to say? Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, he's going to benefit off of it.
Yeah, he's right. We're trying to screw him over. Yeah, he's right.
Use Your Illusion set from Guns N' Roses. That's going to be freaking awesome. People have
been ragging on that. I love those two albums.
I do too. Includes
I think it could have been.
It's a new version of November Rain on there. It'll probably be 20 minutes long.
Have they given? I posted it, but how many have they given a price on it yet?
No, I haven't seen a price yet. But this says the Guns N' Roses classic November Rain will receive a full orchestral upgrade.
Oh, nice.
Motley Crue and Def Leppard Stadium Tour made over 173 million. Most successful tour of either band's career, believe it or not. Of course,
what does that say about Poison? We got to be Poisons too, right?
Well, of course it is. I mean, times have changed. I mean, let's see. 97 tracks on the Use Your Illusion box set.
Yeah, I saw that. They're like, I think Duff posted something. There's like 40 more unreleased tracks or something because there's like they got some.
Be pretty, and it doesn't. I don't see a. Let's see. I'm looking to see if I see a price. Oh, I'm looking at the disc, the lineup here. Live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's live stuff.
I mean, I don't see a price, but
yeah,
anyway.
Duff tweeted something. There's like 30 or 40 songs unreleased. God, I wish Kiss would do something like that. I actually wish Kiss would release unreleased stuff instead of giving us all these toys. Because I don't think I'm going to get the Creatures box set, Stevie. I never opened the Destroyer one, so I was like, meh. But like the Guns N' Roses, I won't buy it either. I'll just stream it, of course, because I'm cheap in my old age.
You're cheap.
How many vinyls is that going to be? All those songs.
I don't have a clue. It's got to be a lot. All right. So moving on. We've done our news for the week. We've done our Tesla concert review. So now, the main event, what Mallory is here for. Mallory's been waiting for this for a while. Our top 10 chicks. I guess you could just say the chicks.
The chicks.
Top 10, the chicks. Now, Mallory, we're going to all go around and talk about how we got into the chicks, what we remember. Oh, look at there. Here she comes. Talk about how we got into the chicks. And we're going to start out, since you're the guest, what got you into the chicks? They were the Dixie Chicks at the time, I'm sure. Tell that story about when you were younger, what you thought of them.
Well, my mom that you just saw in that, and her sister Darlene, that's all that they played when I was little. That's all I heard. If we were in the car, that's what they were playing on the radio. So I was basically like brought up with the Dixie Chicks. And at first, when I was little, I didn't know any better. It wasn't my type of music because, being so young, that's not what I really listened to. And finally, maybe a year or two ago, I finally started really getting into them. And I was telling Diddy the other day that there was one time we were on the way home from the beach, and Mom wanted to listen to the Dixie Chicks and asked Diddy if he would play it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to listen to the Dixie Chicks. I do not want to. So I put my headphones in, and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know, but now I'm obsessed with them. So it's all I listen to, really, I feel like. So, yeah, that's basically my story of how I got into them.
Well, talk a little bit about what you got to do this a couple of months ago, too. You hear me?
Do what? I can't. It's breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what you got to do a couple of months ago.
I actually went to go see them in concert with the same two people that got me into it, my mom and my aunt. We went to Raleigh, and saw them, and oh my gosh, that was like a dream come true, really. Like that's something off of my bucket list. And when I was little, I wouldn't have minded to go see them in concert, but I mean, it was a dream come true. Everything about it was just perfect. Like, I mean, the weather was perfect. It wasn't too hot outside. I remember there weren't really that big of a crowd there. I mean, it was a good amount of people, but it was way less than I expected. And yeah, like everything was. Yeah, it was just
COVID still.
Well,
oh yeah, definitely. But it was great. I loved everything about it. The music, every song that they played was perfect. I could have, there were some they played their new album, like their newer album, Gaslighter, most of the songs up there. But there were some older songs I wish they would have played, but it's okay. Like, I'm not going to complain because it was good.
Now, welcome to our world. That's what we deal with Kiss all the time. Like, God, they have so many songs. Why are they playing the hits?
At least, Kiss, at least Dixie Chicks will change it up, or Chicks will change it up. Kiss won't even change it. So you're in a better situation we are. So
yeah, and they're you'll probably see them a few more times than we'll see Kiss.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
True.
The Chicks, their farewell tour might end before Kiss's farewell tour. Though.
They're doing a farewell tour?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Don't say that.
Yeah, don't say that.
No, I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Kiss's farewell tour is going to last forever.
It's not a farewell tour, Steve. It's just the end of the road.
End of the road.
And the road is like the Beatles say, long and winding.
They'll find another road to get on. So, all right, Warden. What about you?
Okay, I was talking to Mallory earlier about that. I kind of share it, kind of like you're talking about your mom playing, country. I was kind of like that of course, I grew up with Glenn Campbell and Kenny Rogers and all that stuff. And I remember my mom always playing George Strait. So I was kind of like, nah, I don't want to hear that. And then I kept listening, and I eventually became, George Strait fan.
I love George Strait.
Dixie Chicks. So okay. Early 90s, around grunge time, I guess mid 90s. I get a job, and I'm still listening to Metallica. I'm, one of those few that like the Load albums, and I'm still listening to like mostly Rod Stewart pop stuff. So I get a job with pretty much all girls and women, and all they listened to was country. It was like in a cubicle area, and there were like, radios there, and they would play it. And of course, I'm there listening to my, Master of Puppets, and they're like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? And I got into Shania Twain, Tim McGraw. And back then in work, I traveled a lot for work. And I remember I think I was in like Illinois or something. And I was starting to like country music a lot. And I put it on, and I hear that dee that There's Your Trouble. And I'm like, then I saw the video. I'm like, man, these girls are cute. Of course, that's, typical guy in his 20s. And I just remember seeing them in that thing. What was that baggage thing going around in that video?
The baggage claim, yeah.
And he's like, that is so pre 9/11. They couldn't get near one of those nowadays. It was just like, I heard that, and I kept hearing that song. I go, I like them. They're cool. And they started playing the heck out of them, just different songs. But around 99, George Strait was doing a festival. It was Joni Messina, the Dixie Chicks, Kenny Chesney, Tim McGraw, and then George. And I got to go to that concert. So it was I've seen the Dixie Chicks, but they're the kind of band that I'd like to see again. But they play like Austin. They don't play Austin. They play like Houston and Dallas. But doing this top 10. It was reminding me how much I liked them and how much they were a part of my life for like a good 10 years. Like when I was, from like 94, 95 up to like, 2000 something, when I kind of, there's so much going on, you lose track of stuff. But this kind of, I've been listening to them like nonstop lately. Yeah. I think they're great.
Yeah. So my story is pretty much the same as Mallory's as far as getting into them. My wife. And
you were forced to listen to them?
Yeah, my wife and my sister-in-law. Which, from the start, I was like, they're pretty good. I didn't mind listening to them from, Wide Open Spaces. You hear that album for the first time, and then Of course, they hit the mega hit with Fly. And then, they had Home, and then the unfortunate incidents happened where it kind of sidetracked their career for a little while with Natalie talking about the president. And, it's unfortunate that it happened and that and we'll talk about this. Me and Mallory have talked about this several times. That's her right to talk about it like she wants to, but it's not. Was it right? Did I agree with it? No, I didn't agree with it. But is that going to stop me from listening to him? No, I'm not going to stop listening to him. And some of these people that were making death threats and all this stuff, that was ridiculous.
To their kids.
The kids have nothing to do with this. You should be making death threats to any of them, much less the kids. But it seems like they're back. They're back, and they, Gaslighter is a whole different ball game as far as what they've been doing. That pretty much that whole album is talking about Natalie Main's divorce, and
don't piss her off.
No, but I'll tell you what. Have you listened to Gaslighter?
The song, yeah.
Have you listened to the album? The whole album is, dude.
Like
the whole
that.
album is just. But it's good. I was like kind of skeptical at first. I said, okay, but it was good.
Honestly, I'll tell you my kind of talking about the hiccup, because they live here in Texas, or they did. They were in Austin, and I remember when that happened, especially in Texas, because Bush was from Texas.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with it at the time. I thought it was kind of a cheap move, but I mean, it ain't compared to anything how people act nowadays. I thought it was blown out of proportion. I think Clear Channel, a company I used to work for, made it political. And I think they hyped it. And I don't think it helped them, because they made them the bad guys. I mean, but I understand Natalie a lot more. And I know the other two they kind of took a break for a while. And she was on Howard Stern because she's they call her a whackpacker because she's kind of out there. And hearing her talk about that and how she was honest, she said the other two girls, they were pissed at her. You can't help but that's normal.
Yeah.
But it's like you hear her that, she's still a human being. We can, and it's something we need to learn nowadays. We can have our disagreements, but my God, don't target somebody.
Yeah.
They're kids, and
Exactly.
and a lot of those people that I saw doing that, it was like on prime time or something. A lot of those people were claiming to be Christians, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't get that, but it's and I think they're still kind of reviled by a lot of people. I don't think country music radio was ever the same, but I tell you what, their stuff's a lot better than a lot of the stuff that's on the radio now, and it could use more of this, but they're more kind of pop now anyway, I think, with Gaslighter. But
I still don't think country music radio will play them that much.
Yeah.
Gaslighter probably hasn't got a lot of airplay.
Mm-hmm.
But
because that was a lot of that was coming from Clear Channel, which owned a lot of those stations at the time.
Yeah.
They were getting all these calls, and so they just, what the people said. So,
I agree? Did I agree with? Like I said, I didn't agree with what she said or when she said it. It was a bad time because we get ready to go to war, and she's free to say what she wants to, but you got to think about what these troops overseas were thinking. We don't agree with this war, and these guys are like sitting there like, this is what we get from our own country, and we're over here.
They didn't really say they didn't agree with the war. They just said Bush was kind of an embarrassment from Texas.
We don't support this war. We don't endorse this war, and they're ashamed of President George W.
Okay, that's the part I heard the most about.
Yeah,
but
that's what you hear. But
what I didn't like about it, you cannot support a war. Still support the troops. You can do both.
Right. You got, and she came out and said that later on.
Yeah, but she got it. I think there was even more heat on her because her going after Toby Keith when Toby Keith did that Angry American. Yeah. And that Angry American, people love it or they revile it. It's reactionary of what happened, and a lot of people felt that way when that happened. Oh, he's just a dumb redneck. That's bullshit. Excuse my French. That was his reaction to something, and he shouldn't have been attacked by a fellow musician. It does. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it ain't like he helped anyway. I mean, I saw him in concert, and he had the picture behind him. I was like, "What is that?" I kept looking at, and it was Natalie Maines next to Saddam Hussein. I mean, that was his backdrop.
What year was it you went to see that?
God, that was 2003. I think Blake Shelton was opening up. Okay. This is the height of their war, and she went on the Video Music Awards with FTK.
Yeah,
and people are like, what? And they didn't know what that meant. I'm like, hello.
What did she say on that documentary that stood for, Mallory?
It was like, she said all it stands for is freedom, together, kindness, or something like that. And I mean, she knew that everybody knew.
We're not stupid. We knew what it meant.
It's like I read an interview with Toby Keith one time. That was going on, and he said he was part of it too. He stoked a lot of it too.
Yeah,
but he was in the hospital one time with one of his friends whose kid was in the hospital, and he looked down and he saw the like OK Magazine or People Magazine with talking about their war, and he goes, "This isn't what it's really about." And Toby dropped it at that time. I think She Style kind of went after him, but I mean, she had her own issues too. But I mean, people would I had some friends like, well, your boy went after her. I was like, no, I think she kind of instigated with him.
But
but it's just and it's just like that nowadays. It's so many differences that it's like we can't let somebody be themselves. We got to mold them as ourselves, and that's both sides.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's fault on both sides. For sure.
I don't care what you say, Stevie. I'm never gonna like Journey.
Okay. And I'm never.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring up Torpedo Girl. Come on, man.
All right, so let's get right down to the nitty gritty. Here we go. All right, Mallory, are you ready? Because you're going to lead us off. You're the guest. You're going to lead us off. Number 10.
So are we going to do it the same way? Like say that Mallory has a one on hers and it's on mine. I'll just mention it later. We won't.
Yeah. You don't have to mention it right away. So
Mallory, be prepared. Your dad has like 40 or 50 honorable mentions. So we'll be here for another 6 hours.
Sure do. All right, so number 10 for Mallory.
My number 10 is going to be kind of shocking because, I mean, it's a very famous one. And I told Daddy, I said, be prepared because my number 10 may shock you. And this Cowboy Take Me Away. It's on the Fly album. And it's like, I was thinking about it. And I was like, it's very hard to put it at number 10 because that was like the first song out of them that I memorized when I was younger. And I think when people like, that aren't as big as fans, their first thought when they think of the Dixie Chicks is a song. And I'm more of a fan of like the less attention grab songs. But I will say that most of the songs that are in here are like famous songs, but I am a big fan of the ones that
the deep cuts,
like low key.
Yeah.
So you can have 40 honorable mentions like your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's taking right after me. She's taking right after me, bud. All right. So number 10 for you, Cowboy Take Me Away. All right, Warden.
That actually didn't make my list. The one that made my list is Please Take the Cowboys Away. That's another story. Yeah, that one was a big hit, and I remember like my mom liking that song, and it was a good song. It just I don't sing it in the shower, but it's a good song.
It's a good thing you don't sing in the shower.
Yeah, good thing. Okay, we were kind of talking about this one. I told both you guys that I had my list down the other day. I had 13 to begin with. I went through the few albums that I knew. And I was like, well, where's that song? And this song was one of the ones I was looking for. So I got the Essential. Yeah. Essential that has a really good collection of a lot of their stuff.
It's really good.
And I was like, oh, crap. And then my list was up to 15. I was like, dang it. And this one was on it because this is the one I was looking for. This is the response to the backlash for their freedom of speech. And I didn't know this. It was written by the dude from Semisonic that wrote Closing Time, Dan Wilson. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Not Ready to Make Nice. I
Me
just
neither.
I remember
Yes.
I remember hearing this, and I just remember so many people being pissed at them. And I think it was an Entertainment Weekly that they were. I used to get Entertainment Weekly back in the day, and they were naked, but they had all these like hate words in their mouths.
Yes, we
And
saw
I
that.
remember
on
that just
documentary.
Mhm.
pissed some people off. I'm going, why does that make? I mean, I get what they said, but I never got the full like I hate them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like people because
Yeah.
what they do to me, or if their music sucks, like Journey. But I mean, it's not not this. But yeah, Not Ready to Make. Just kidding about Journey. Not Ready to Make Nice. Cool song, gets to the point. They're standing up for themselves, and I
Not Ready to Make Nice. That was it. That was going to be one of my honorable mentions. It's not on my list.
so we're down to 39 now.
Yeah, down to 39. All right, that's a good song, and like you said, that was a much anticipated song because I believe that was the first single released after all this off that new album. I think Take a Long Way Home. That was the first single released off that album, and a lot of people were highly anticipating what that was going to be about. It's a good song too. I could.
Say what you want about Natalie. She can sing. Girl can
Oh
wail.
gosh, yes. And then look,
God,
let me tell you.
yes.
Let me tell you. Get it out of the way right now. There's a couple of things that the Dixie Chicks do well that I'm a big fan of. I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for a ballad, and I'm a sucker for harmonies. And these Emily and Marty are very underrated with their harmonies. I mean, that's part of the thing I really love to listen to about some of these songs is the harmonies in there. All right, first of all, let's just get this out of the way now too. I did not see Mallory's list. She did not see my list. She was very secretive.
That's the way we do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she was very secretive about it. I was very secretive about mine. Didn't tell her anything that was on my list.
That's what's good about our show. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, without further ado, my number 10, Cowboy Take Me Away, was my number 10. So, yeah, that's like Mallory said, it's one of their signature songs, but
That song was huge.
yes.
You couldn't get away from it in country radio. They played it all the time.
The song came, they say the title came from the Calgon commercials about,
I can see that.
take me away. So that's kind of where they got it from. Actually,
Mallory probably has no idea what you're talking about.
no, she never saw the Calgon.
Calgon, what's that? Ancient
Calgon,
Chinese
take me
secret.
away.
Wasn't that Calgon?
No, that's not Calgon. That's something else. That's laundry detergent you're talking about, buddy.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing.
Calgon. Look it up. Google it.
No.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh? That's laundry detergent. I don't think you're bathing in
I
laundry
think they
detergent.
made that though.
No.
Don't look it up, Stevie. Continue with the show.
You're looking it up, ain't you? Yep, you're looking it up. All right. This was actually played on a number of local Christian radio stations in Uganda.
Calgon water softener. Thank you very much.
Water softener. Okay.
Yes, it's the 70s, man. It was all everything. So I knew that was Calgon.
But you know,
They
this was,
multitask.
shut up. This was like at the height of their popularity. You know, all three of them were blonde. And the video, you look at the video, you see them in there. They're, but that, like I said, one of the things I love about the song, the harmonies in the chorus. And at the end, when they hit the last chorus that time, and they take Cowboy Take Me Away a little bit longer. I mean, what can you say about it? These three girls are talented. I mean, with the fiddle, the banjo, with Natalie singing, one of the best. I would say one of the best girl groups out there in the history of music. I would say, to me.
Yeah.
So Cowboy Take Me Away is my number 10.
Definitely.
All right, Mallory. Moving on. Number 9 for you.
All right. Well, this one is actually my mom's favorite. Mama said that this would be her number 1, but it's my number 9. So it's Let 'Em Fly, and it's on the Fly album. It's a great song. It's so pretty. This song is one of those that the lyrics sound like poetic, I guess you could say. Like it just sounds very smooth and all that. And this one was actually, it wasn't original by them. It was Patty Griffin. She actually wrote it, and they covered a few of her songs.
Yep.
I think it was this one and two other ones they covered. And she actually opened up at the concert I went to, and she's awesome. Yeah, I really like that song. I do, but it's not like top 3 worthy, I guess you could say. For me, top 3 worthy, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Like all of them are.
What's the name of it again?
That one.
Let 'Em Fly.
Let 'Em Fly.
I have to check that one out. I'm not too familiar with that one. I've probably heard it. I just need to listen to it again.
Yeah, you probably have. All right.
It's
so
good.
Let 'Em Fly is number 9. That didn't make my list, but really good song. And it's hard. I don't think we're gonna, any of us between our 30 picks is gonna have a bad Dixie Chicks or Chick song. Excuse me. So, but number 9 for you, Ward.
Okay, this is okay. First off, I forgot to mention this about talking about them. They had been around since the early '90s. They didn't get famous until Natalie joined the band.
Yeah.
So they had like another lead singer. How do you?
Totally
how are
different
you?
sound.
Yeah, how are you when like you're that person like the guy from?
How do you feel?
That Ringo Starr replaced, like Pete Best. How they go on to bigger and better things. Like the guy, who was the guy in Metallica that didn't want to play because the bass player before Cliff, it wasn't his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay. This one I didn't know this, and I read this on the internet. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I remember the scene. This title was taken from Grease.
Yes.
It's when Danny was getting a little fresh with her, and she talked about a sin wagon.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this I just love this song. It's just I love the. Is it Madeline in that? It kind of reminds me of that Rod Stewart song, Madeline Wynn. It's not a single, but I think it even charted because it was so popular that they played it. And of course they played it on radio, but that's always been one of my favorite songs too. Sin Wagon.
And I'm sure Mallory will want to talk about this a little bit later. That's coming a little bit later.
I didn't know.
Sure.
Well, I'll talk about it when I have. Is this on my list? I will say I'll talk about it. Yeah.
I didn't know that was on the Grease thing because she talks in that Australian accent. It's kind of hard to understand her because when she gets so excited, Olivia. And I read that, I was like, I have to go back and watch Grease.
Right.
But it's Sin Wagon. I just remember the part where she closes the door. That's the part I remember. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Both me and Mallory will probably have something to say about that later on.
Well, yeah, because you guys have good taste.
Yeah. So.
A little bit higher than mine, I guess, huh?
Yeah, a little bit higher than yours. Number 9 for me was pretty much, and this will probably be a little bit higher on Mallory's list, probably a little bit higher, maybe a little bit higher on Ward's list. I can never tell with Ward, but it is pretty much the song that identifies the Dixie or the Chicks. It got their theme song. And it pretty much put them on the map. Not their first single, but when you think of the Chicks, this is probably one of the first songs that comes up to you. Wide Open Spaces. I mean, this was when they hit it big. Their first single was There's Your Trouble, but when Wide Open Spaces hit, they went just like out of the roof. And I mean, put them on the map. And the lyrics, like in some of the songs, talking about possibilities yet undiscovered, like a girl going out in the world and wanting to spread her wings. Like she needs wide open spaces, room to make her big mistakes, new faces. She knows the high stakes. So, I mean, that pretty much identified as put all these women out there that loved the Dixie Chicks at the time. They were Dixie Chicks at the time. I'm sorry. But that put all these women like, yeah, I know exactly what she's talking about. That's what I want to be. Everybody, when that song came out, all these women identified with that song. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. But Wide Open Spaces is number 9 for me.
And this song has something that most women don't follow, and they should. Check the oil.
Check the oil.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that is not on my list.
Not mine either.
Wow. Wow. Jeez, what is wrong with you guys?
Not on my list.
I think it's just
I
overplayed
love that
for
song
me.
so much.
It's a great song. I think it's just overplayed for me.
Oh yeah, that it's got it does have fatigue, but I was like, that's one of I've got to put that on the list because that's like the song that launched everything for them.
And it was originally on my list, but I gave that space to another song.
See what Warden? I told her she's gonna make a list and she's gonna change it, and stuff's gonna get turned around and some songs are gonna get taken out. I told her that.
Well, that's what you do, Stevie. It was on my.
I mean, I changed it about probably a good 5 times.
Yeah, I did too.
She was working on it up until about 8 o'clock tonight. I saw her.
Oh wow!
Put stuff in there, so that's just like us.
Yeah, I like the song. I mean, I like it, but it's. I think it's just over. But
fatigue, it's like Rock and Roll All Night for Kiss.
You think? No, I don't think it's that. I don't
it's
think
fatigue
it's
like that.
I thought you said it's their signature song. I go, no way.
No, it's fatigue like that though. All right, number 8 for Mallory.
My number 8 is actually a long time gone. It's on the Home album. And I knew I had to put that one in here because I will say at first I wasn't a huge fan of the song. Like I didn't really listen to it much. Honest to God, I didn't really know it was a song of theirs until the set list for the concert came out, and I looked up there and I was like, I've never heard of that song. So I went and I listened to it, and I just kept on listening to it and stuff, and it became like one of the main songs I was excited about hearing. And now it's like definitely one of my favorites, and it's a great song. I mean, I think she's basically saying like talking about her family, because it wasn't written by the Dixie Chicks. It was written by some other guy. I can't think of his name, but they're talking about, their family, they're staying home and, they're doing stuff at home, but like she wants to go and be a long time gone and do stuff outside of her hometown. I mean, I really like that song, and it's funny. It's kind of funny too.
Is this the one that they're?
Yeah.
This the video they're in Mexico driving by.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
the
that's
cantina? Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And look, whatever you do not listen to the original version by the guy that wrote the song. It will ruin it for you. I'm sorry, dude. Wherever you're at out there, it's not good.
It's kind of like that.
Not good at all. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like that. Who's that guy that sang the original Downtown Train? God, it's horrible. You know that guy? He's wrote a couple good songs, but man,
Tom Waits.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'll see you tonight. Okay, Grover.
That's his voice, dude. He's pretty good. He has done some good songs, but I agree with you on that. Downtown Train was not one of them.
Nothing tops the Rod Stewart version.
All right, number 8 for you, Warden.
Okay. I think I was going through a breakup when this song came out. And it seems like this song, and there's a song called by George Strait, Today My World Slipped Away. Oh my God, it's like about getting divorced. It's just so sad. But this is a breakup song, but it involves the kids. The guy's not even going to stay for them. And it's just like, it's like the her singing about this, about, you're not even going to stay for the kids, and it is, and she's trying to use the kids, but she's taking it hard too, because it's like, where'd you go? I mean, it's like, you were mine. I mean, I don't have any kids, but it's like, I mean, they just talk about how the kids are, young and they adore you, but you won't even stay for them. And kind of going through that myself, and with my dad, when he got married again, I guess that kind of hit home too. But I mean, like I said, that and the George Strait song, Today My World Slipped Away, they're two of those saddest songs. And when you got a broken heart, that's what you want to listen to, is sad music. And these are two of them.
Right.
I like the video because it shows them on tour and stuff.
The video is probably my favorite Dixie Chicks video.
Because they're on tour, right? Aren't they on the buses or whatever and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They get off the bus and go to the hotel, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. A little bit further up in my list. So my number 8 is it's a, you've always heard this a little bit different saying, well, it'll be a cold day in hell before I'll do that. So they couldn't actually sing a cold day in hell, I don't think. So cold day in July. So this song, I did not know this. This song was actually recorded twice before the Chicks did it. In 1992, Susie Boggess, you remember her?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she did that on her album Voice of the Wind. And then Joy Lynn White, who I don't know who that is.
No.
She did that. Her version was released as a single in 93, peaking at number 71. And when Dixie Chicks, they did a little bit better. It peaked at number 10. So, but yeah, just that the lyrics are great. I mean, just like she said, you always said the day you would leave me would be a cold day in July. And then all of a sudden at the end, she said, here comes that cold day in July. So you were right there feeling it with her. I mean, these girls do a great job. Like you said, when you were mine with the tearjerkers, the ballads. And like I said, I'm a sucker for them. But I think the ending, we talk about harmonies. The ending, when you hear all three of them doing their la-da-da, I can't do it like that. I'm not going to even try that anymore. But
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you appreciate that, don't you?
Can you do that again? I need a new ringtone.
But yeah, I mean, it was off the Fly album, of course, and that was when Dixie Chicks were on fire. And but Cold Day in July is my number 8.
I'm kind of familiar with that song, but I'll give it another listen.
Yeah, you did. Oh, I think you would love that. I think you would really like that one.
That's good.
Back around to Mallory, number 7.
Number 7 for me is Not Ready to Make Nice. That's my number 7. I love that song. I don't know, the part where I can't even remember, like, at the top of my head, the lyrics where it starts, but she gets kind of fast and singing kind of fast and stuff. That is my favorite part. I love that part. That I remember the first time I heard that too, and I got chills. Like, I was like, good Lord, because the story behind it, like you were saying earlier, the controversy and everything that they went through, all that stuff, and the threats she was getting. And there was one time they were on, it was after the whole thing happened that she said, and I think they had just got done with the concert, and one of the producers came back there and gave her a letter, and it said Natalie Maines will be shot dead on stage it was a certain date. And she didn't really show any emotion towards it, because there was a camera right at her when she read it and everything. But she still went out there. Like, yeah, they had more security and everything with them, through that time. But they ended up finding the guy that sent it to her. And she still went out there, though. All 3 of them still went out there, and that's brave. I mean, that's just, it shows something about them.
Yeah,
that's why I put that in there.
Me and your dad know one of our favorite. Are you a Pantera fan, Stevie?
A what?
A little bit Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera. There was a guitar player that he got shot by. He wasn't in Pantera. They broke up, and the guy that shot him on stage.
Shot and killed him on stage. His name
because
was
he was mad.
Earl.
He was mad they broke up.
Yeah.
They call them fanatics for a reason. They call us fans for a reason.
Mallory, that part you're talking about where she speeds up the lyrics, she's talking about, one of the lines in there is talking about a grown-up telling a child he should hate somebody he doesn't even know. And
right.
I think what, and that song, like I said, it was an honorable mention for me. I think what makes that song, not only the fact that everybody was anticipating it so much, but when you listen to it now, there's so much emotion in that when and the lyrics, when they wrote them and when she recorded, there's got to be a lot of emotion in there, because that's like pent up feelings, and she's getting it out now. She's just letting it out and let people know, I'm not ready to make nice. What does she say? Forgive. Why did she say it? What's the lyrics, Mary? Forgive
Sounds good. Forget, I don't think I could.
I mean, that's powerful right there, dude. That's just telling you, okay, I'm not going to forget it. I might forgive you, but I'm not going to forget what you did.
Exactly.
So, and
Exactly.
that can go for a lot of different situations there. All right, Warden, number 7.
Okay, number 7. It's another song more about the backlash. It was also written from the dude from Semisonic. She denies this was about her feud with Toby Keith, but a lot of people say it is. It's The Long Way Around. Yeah, it's more on the backlash, kind of what they were going through. How they don't take the easy way out; they take the long way around. I mean, I think the song pretty much says it all.
Exactly.
But she's denied it's about Toby. But I mean, I think your life when you write songs, I think everything in your life influences your songwriting. So that had to play some kind of part.
Well, I like songs that are real life situations. You hear something like Brad Paisley does a great job with that kind of song. Okay, we've got a first comment tonight. Martin Acosta's back. He just posted Rat. So anyway,
There's a time and place for everything. That's not tonight.
Stuff like that is, it didn't make my list. Long Way Around didn't make my list, and it's not one of my 40 honorable mentions either.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna have to get more familiar with it. I will give it a listen though, because I haven't really listened to it that much.
This song actually replaced Gaslighter for me.
Really?
Gaslighter was there pretty high up for me, and I heard this song and I liked it more than I did Gaslighter because I remember it when it came out.
Okay. All right.
But Gaslighter is an honorable mention. One of my,
Oh
several.
yeah.
That's a poppy song. I mean, it's
It is. It grew on me. The first time I listened to it, I was like, but it grew on me as it went.
I thought it was going to be about the controversy. They're still talking about that, but it's about her husband. Like, oh,
it's
crap.
another controversy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, she's a little fireball spitfire. I mean, good for her.
Yeah,
she's not going to take any crap. That's for sure. My number 7, and I told Mallory when I made my list, my number 7 will probably really surprise her. And actually, it's Mallory that's responsible for number 7 because we sat down and watched the video to it, and I was like, and I've never really listened to this song. And after I watched the video, I was like, I need to go back and listen to this song because it's catchy. And when I listened to it, I sat down and listened to it a couple of times. I was like, yeah, this is this is really moving up my list. So it made number 7. Top of the World. Top of the World was another Patty Griffin song, Mallory. Who are the chicks, Steve Hill? Are you really asking that? I mean, you know who the chicks are.
Who asked that?
Steve Hill asked, who are the chicks? You know who they are. But yeah, it's different than any. Are you familiar with this, Warden?
I probably heard it. I gotta go back and listen to it.
It's different.
It's really good.
I know the Van Halen version.
Yeah, it's different from anything that the chicks have done. The Dixie Chicks, Steve Hill. Come on, bud. I know you're joking, right?
Don't pay attention. That's just
Anyway, but this song, written from the point of view of a man who has passed on, and he's sort of looking down and wishing that he had been a different person, having a lot of regrets, and wishing he hadn't had the negative effect on the people in his life. So, I mean,
so you said he's looking down. At least he's not looking up, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, he's not looking up.
That's a good thing.
Steve, they changed their name. Hold on, just let me get this out. He wants to know why the chicks. I think he's really wondering why the chicks. They dropped the Dixie from it.
Okay.
When everybody was dropping names, like Lady Annabella went to Lady A, and Mark Costa put Tribe.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But what is the lyrics, man? I think I broke the wings off the songbird or something like that.
Broke the wings off a little songbird. She's never gonna fly to the top of the world.
Yeah, I mean it's you really need to check that song out. It's different. It's not, if you heard it, the music wise, because there's not a lot of the typical Dixie Chick stuff. the fiddle and the banjo, stuff like that. It's not really like that. It's just different. And I really, like I said, I would never heard it. Mallory hadn't been watching the video one day when I sat down. I said, "Dang, that's a pretty good song." But check it out. But Top of the World is my number 7.
Yeah, when you say that, I'm thinking Van Halen. That's what I'm thinking of. But
Not standing on top of the world. No, not that one.
okay.
All right. Number 6, Mallory.
This might be a shock to Diddy because he knows that I listen to this one. This is one of them that I listen to a lot, but it's Traveling Soldier.
Wow.
That song, it's on the Home album. I mainly love the story behind it. If you've listened to it, it's this guy, he was about to go join the army. He was waiting for his bus, and he told this girl, he was like, I have nobody to talk to. Like, I have nobody here. And so they went out. She was working, and they went out and stuff. And he was like, I have nobody to write a letter to. Can I write to you when I leave? And she said, yeah. So he left, and he was writing her and stuff. And then he told her in a letter, he was like, don't worry, but I'm not going to be able to write for a while. And he died. And she found out, she was in the marching band, and she found out at a football game. They said the prayer for the football game, and then they honored like a list of Vietnam dead, and he was one of them. It's one of those songs that will really give you chills, and I really like those songs. The songs that have meanings behind it and stuff like that. So, and that was actually one of them from the concert. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. When we were at the concert, they did that song, and they brought these lights down, and it was like fog, and it was like yellow lights, and all you could see was their like shadow of everybody.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, oh geez, it was crazy. It was so good. I love that song.
Didn't make my top 10, but it made my honorable mention.
Oh, yeah.
I first heard this song. I don't know why. I guess I never really paid attention to the lyrics. I thought this was something to do with the Civil War, like a traveling soldier.
I could see that.
Because
I can see that.
Because that's what they were. Like a soldier would show up at your house, back in the
Right.
Civil War days. Then I kind of got deeper, like, oh, it's about Vietnam. But good tune, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I never tried that on telling a girl, hey, I don't have nobody to write to. Maybe that's a good pickup line I can do in my old age.
Oh Lord, no, that might get you landed. Land you in jail.
Can you text me? I got nobody to text me.
That might land.
Nobody text me but Stevie.
Wow. Anyway, number 6 for you. 6.
Okay, I mentioned this earlier. This is the first song I ever heard by them. I guess it was their first single. I Can Love You Better. Like I said, it reminds me of pre 9/11 because they're on a carousel on the baggage claim. You couldn't probably do that nowadays.
No.
It reminds me of a simpler time. I was in my 20s. I was young. I had hair. This is a good song. I mean, it's. I saw them and I automatically thought they were all cute. But I like the Natalie. But Natalie was like my third out of the 3, but the other 2, I was like, man, they're cute. And I like how they're just sitting there waiting for her to sing, and then they start getting into it. And isn't that the one where the girl's playing this on the guitar on the? Is that the video? Yeah. So that was kind of like they did that later when they did Landslide, and she was like 18 months pregnant. Wasn't that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm like,
I can love you better, and I just remember that dee dee. I mean, that dee dee. Yeah, I can't do it right. Yeah, that's. I mean, like I said, it was a simpler time. I was younger, and and now I'm older, so.
Yeah, you definitely are that.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I'm like you. Marty is like the face. Not Marty, but Natalie is the face of the group, but Marty for me is the prettiest. I mean,
I like all 3 of them. If I
had to pick a prettiest one out of there, Marty is definitely it.
She's the one with the guitar, right? Not the. Not the
She
fiddle. Not
plays
the
She's the
she
no,
plays
she's
the fiddle
violin, yeah.
violin.
Oh, see, I think the other one. I think the guitar players. I like the other guitar player.
you
Well, yeah.
But I honestly, I like all three of them myself.
Yeah, I mean I do, but I think she's pretty. I've always
I
thought
like the
she's
guitar
pretty.
player.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
Emily
that you're wrong, but that's
actually.
okay.
It was her birthday. It was Emily's birthday not too long ago.
Oh
and
yeah,
I
tell her
sent
about that.
I sent her a message. I was like, she's never going to see it or anything. I actually messaged her on Instagram.
This is
I
the
was
fiddle
like,
player
happy
or the
birthday.
guitar
I know
player?
you'll never see it.
This
The guitar player.
Okay.
Guitar player. So yeah, she was I sent her that message. I was like, I know you'll never see this, but I wanted to wish you happy birthday. And she responded to me. She was
That's
like,
awesome.
she said, I see it, and she said, I thank you so much. And I was over the moon. I was so excited. It was late at night too, and I was like, what? It woke me up. Definitely.
That's awesome. You know what happened to me a couple weeks ago? I don't know if I told Stevie this. I tweeted one of our episodes, and I got a thanks Warden for liking Torpedo Girl. No.
Who?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was getting ready to say.
Thanks, Warden. How does he do it?
I was getting ready to say if Ace did that.
Thanks, Warden, for liking my war song. I can't do it.
Dude, you do a terrible Ace.
I know.
I can't.
I do like the comatose Ace. The drinking too much NyQuil.
You sound like you
I'm
were
bad.
going through puberty with Ace or something like that.
Why? Yeah.
All right, number 6 for me. It's a repeat. Warden had it early in the list, and it's the Grease song, Sin Wagon. I'm like you, Warden. It's just I'm not gonna say it's a kick butt song from the start, fast paced. Like you said, it was not a single, but charted. I mean, that just tells you how big it was. And I think this is a song that started out at the concert too, right, Mallory?
Yeah, I was going to talk.
Yeah, well, we'll let you talk about that later. But yeah, it's just I mean, like you said, I remember watching. I think they did an NBC like primetime special, and they were talking about some of their songs. And when Sin Wagon came up, when they were getting ready to do Sin Wagon, and you hear Natalie talk about, we actually got that. Like you said, we actually got that title from Grease when Sandy says, "Get me out of the Sin Wagon." And that was pretty cool. But yeah, the song just kicks butt. I mean, from the start to the finish. And those girls play their butt off. I mean, you can say what you want. They play their butt off in this song.
So is this like their Damage Incorporated, their fastest song?
Yes, this is their thrash metal song for the Dixie Chicks. But yeah, number 6 for me, Sin Wagon. All right.
Good choice, Stevie. Good choice.
We're getting in the top 5 now. Here we go. Number 5, Mallory.
My number 5 is Sin Wagon.
There we go.
And that was, it was originally my 3rd, and I changed it around. I switched. So my number 3 is accurate. But
nothing wrong with that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, like Daddy said. Yeah. Like Daddy said, this was the first song that they played at the concert, and what they did with it was before the concert started, after Patty sang, there was like they still needed some time to get ready. So there was like a period of time where they just played like old music and stuff, and they had like the music videos on the big screen. So we were just waiting and stuff, and Bad Reputation by Joan Jett came up. And I was just watching it. It was louder than usual than the other songs had been. I was like, no, there ain't no way, The next thing you know, the screen like cut out. And then Sin Wagon came up.
Oh, cool.
And oh gosh, it was like, oh my gosh, it was just so energetic. Everybody was going crazy. I mean, it was amazing. Like, it was awesome. But
every time I hear that song, I look for Ronda Rousey. The wrestler. That's her theme song.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just that's definitely one of my favorites of all time. I'm always listening to that song. It's awesome. And there's actually before I went to the concert, I always dreamt when I first started getting back into them. I watched some of their live videos, and there's a part in the bridge where they take their arm around and stuff at the same time. I don't know how to explain it, but I always dreamed of seeing them in concert do that.
Oh,
and
wow.
then when I saw it in concert, it was just like, oh my gosh! It's just they're moving their arm around, but it was just one of those things you never thought you'd see in person, but it was awesome. Like, I just loved it. But yeah,
I gotta go see them when they come by.
oh yeah,
that is pretty cool. It's kind of like the Paul Jean and Ace thing they do with
Deuce.
Deuce. Yeah, but they do that little. They do it all at the same time. They bring it all back around, and
yeah.
it's cool. It is pretty cool.
They don't do the thing like Warrant. Didn't they do a Warrant do something like that with the heaven?
They don't do all that. They're not that. So number 5, Warden.
This is a song that I was telling y'all about that I had my list done, and I went back and listened to stuff, the essentials, and I found this song, and I remember this song. I was like, God, I remember this song, and I don't know if it was a single or not. I'm not too sure if it was or not. I didn't look up that part. It's a song about the consequences of fame and success, but I mean, I guess because everybody knows everything about you, but that can be applied to anybody's life, I would think. I mean, if you got a bad reputation, like not to make fun of what we were just talking about, but everybody knows you sometimes feel like that. Like, oh, everybody knows, I effed up or, something like that. So
Right.
everybody knows.
What's the name again?
Everybody knows.
Oh,
Is that
Huh.
is that actually a cover song?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't look. I just remember it's on the essentials, and I just remember liking it a lot.
I do know what you're talking about. I sure do. Yeah.
I actually think that is a cover song. And I'm gonna look that right up because I think I remember hearing it, and when I heard it, I was like, I've heard that somewhere before. If it's the song I'm thinking, let's see. No, that's not the same one. It was covered by another band, the Jayhawks. So
Yeah, I read that part about it.
yeah, but there was a Everybody Knows that was an older song from like the '80s, and I could totally see the Dixie Chicks singing that.
Yeah.
All
This
right,
song isn't from the 80s, right?
huh?
This song's not from the 80s. It's not a cover.
No, I was saying there was another Everybody Knows
Oh, okay.
that I was thinking of that Don Henley covered. That it was do you remember that song? That movie Pump Up the Volume.
Oh, with Christian Slater?
Christian Slater.
Yeah.
There was a song over there Everybody Knows, and then Don Henley ended up doing it years later. That's not the same one.
Hmm.
So number 5 for me.
So I guess everybody doesn't know. I'm kidding.
No, everybody doesn't know that song.
Hey, I kind of stumped y'all a little bit. That's finally.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah.
so number 5 for me, and you talked about this before we went on the air. It's probably their funnest song that they play in concert they've ever played. Goodbye, Earl.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Got a feeling.
I mean, the video is got so many stars like Jane Krakowski, Lauren Holly. It did create some controversy dealing with domestic abuse, but you don't try to turn it that way where it's doing that.
Oh, they did. They tried. They
end
tried.
up killing Earl because Earl beat his wife. I mean, Marianne and Wanda, best of friends, and then Wanda looked all around this town and all she found was Earl. I mean, that you can pretty much see that whole thing, and not just listen to the song without seeing the video. You pretty much can play that story in your head and see it. It's just a great story to tell, and it's so fun. I think one of the funniest parts to me on the video is when they're over top of him, you just see the camera looking up at them, and they're like putting him in the bag or whatever it is. But what's the best part of the song is we need a break.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but Goodbye Earl, it's just a classic song, a really good country song, and number 5 for me on.
I was watching that video today, and that your part you're talking about where he looks up and sees them all. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't mind looking up and seeing that myself. I mean, I wouldn't. I looked up and was like, that's not a bad picture right there. All what it was like all 5 of them. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the situation you want to be in though. It's the
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nice guy, so yeah, I want to. No, just kidding.
I could say Warden had. They would be saying Warden had to die.
But I remember that part where like she's putting what's her name on the bus, and then all that left was Earl, and it's like, man, why couldn't I live in that town when a chick like Jane was there, and I could have, you know what I mean? It's like, man, I got the worst luck, man.
And look, one of the things that we talked about, they tried to turn it against them, but the Dixie Chicks wanted people with the radio stations when they played that song to get it out there that women that are being abused have options, and they asked them to please air this number for domestic abuse after every time they play a song. A lot of radio stations did it, but some did. Some wanted to turn it and would play it, but a lot of radio stations did air that number after every time they played the song. So, I mean, give them a break.
I agree.
I mean, these rap artists can sing about beating their girlfriends up and all this stuff and doing all this and shooting the guns and all this stuff. And you're going to talk about domestic abuse? Give me a break.
I like it when Stevie gets on his pulpit.
Right.
That's right. I'm on my pulpit.
What was that on? What is that on Family Guy? You know what grinds my gears?
You know what grinds my gears? Number 4, Mallory.
My number 4.
Yes.
This one, if I had to guess, is probably Diddy's number 1, and he will probably be shocked that it's not in my top 3, but it's "There's Your Trouble." That's definitely, I mean, it's just definitely one of my favorites. I don't know what to really say about it. It's funny. I mean, they got some humor in it, and it talks about just dealing with like a guy that I don't know how to explain it. It's just, to me, it's a really good song, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I don't know even how to explain it, to be honest, but it's a good beat too. That's what I really like about it.
There's Your Trouble. I'll talk a little bit about this later on. We'll explain it. And my beautiful bride is watching, and Mallory's mom is watching. She says, "If I go, you're going down with me." And she's not talking about getting in trouble. She's talking about the Dixie Chicks song. So that's one of hers. So, thank you for chiming in.
That was in my honorable mentions.
What? There's Your Trouble? Or
yes. Yeah, There's Your Trouble.
Okay. There's Your Trouble because it's in your honorable mention. What's your number 4?
Well, you just talked about it. Goodbye, Earl. It's a fun song about getting justice, pretty much. Like I said, Jane Krakowski is what I remember most from that video. And I think we said enough. But like I said, waking up and seeing that is like, oh, nice. But what's his name was pretty funny because who's the guy who was on? What's his name? The guy that was Earl.
Dennis Franz.
Yeah, and it's like he's walking around like a zombie, like he's already dead and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
the dancing part of the end where they're all out there dancing, and he's out there dancing in his zombie outfit. So,
and I want to ask a question: What is up with that bandana that Natalie's wearing? I mean, it's like she's wearing a giant bandana.
It does.
That's different, and it's like all the dancers are going. She might fall out of that thing. That's what I would worry about if it was me.
Yeah. All right. So number 4 for me, and Warden, you had this earlier, and we talked about it a little bit. You Were Mine. This was actually written by the sisters, and it was pretty much about their parents. I mean, their parents divorced. and they were talking. Listen, I mean, you hear the lyrics at the end. I can give you two good reasons. Show you love's not blind. She's
I
too.
couldn't give you. Didn't it say I couldn't give you two good
I
reasons?
could. I can. I can give you two good reasons.
Oh, I always misunderstood it that I couldn't give you two good reasons. Like they weren't good enough for you to stay. That's how I read it.
No,
I see now.
But yeah. So they wrote that about.
Don't be dismissing. Nah. I mean, that's how I read it, man. Come on,
That's
dude.
how you read it. You didn't read the
Interpretation, dude. I didn't read the lyrics, no. But that's how I took it into my heart.
I think it's kind of eerie at the end when she does the little outro with the violin.
Yeah.
But the video, like I said, is probably my favorite Dixie Chicks video. It just shows real life. You know, Natalie, instead of going in the hotel, walks around that town. Marty goes and she's sitting in there with TV on, and they show her writing the lyrics to the song, and then Emily is like taking a bath. So
Isn't it in black and white?
Yeah, it's in black and white.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, but yeah, and I'm like I said, sucker for a ballad, and this one was so good. I mean, this is real life right here, dude. I mean, I just it was higher at one time, but I changed it, and it's like I said, it's very this is what they said, very autobiographical about the breakup of the girl's parents and the subsequent divorce. In one interview, when asked about it, they said that their parents generally sweep it under the rug, saying they know it's about them, but we never talk about it. They don't want to bring it up because they're still weird around each other. My dad doesn't want to think it's about him, but it doesn't make him look very good. And my mom thinks she's moved on. So, yeah, I mean, you think about it. The dad, yeah, if they're coming out saying this is about our divorce, the dad doesn't look good at all in this. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was pretty cool. I think it adds a little bit of extra to it, knowing that it's true story, true life. But you were mine, number 4. Here we go. Getting in the top 3. Mallory, number 3.
My number 3, like I said earlier, I changed it, Sin Wagon, I swapped it out, is Landslide. And, Landslide obviously comes from Fleetwood Mac, and I really think that's awesome that they covered a Fleetwood Mac song, because I sure do love me some Fleetwood Mac too. But this is one of those songs that, music is like therapy, and this is one of the songs that have gotten me through a lot of hard times in my life, and it's just the lyrics about it can mean like tons of different things, and I loved it. And they're actually, Daddy and I watched it yesterday. It was the Dixie Chicks and Stevie Nicks singing all together, and the way that the Dixie Chicks sang it is different than how Stevie sang it. So they putting it together was really cool to me. Like I really enjoyed listening to that. It gave me chills the first time I ever watched it. But yeah, that's one of those songs that really helped me through dark times and everything, and that's why it's definitely my number 3.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Smashing Pumpkins version?
I don't think I've heard that.
They do a cover of it. Miss Smashing Pumpkins, pretty good.
Yeah.
Dang,
I think the best part when me and Mallory were watching that video was when they hit that little pause and Stevie Nicks came on and sang, "Took my love and I took it down."
That's my favorite part.
They hit it and the harmonies just matched right up, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was awesome.
I like the song, but that video freaked me out, dude. That was
that was a strange video.
It was.
Yeah,
You're right.
It was a little weird.
Before we move on to Warden's pick, I gotta throw a shout out right here to one of our fellow Loudcasters watching all the way from Australia. It's Pinocchio. Pinocchio is with us tonight. So
I can't do this song.
We can't. We don't have that in our budget to do your audio intro, Pinocchio. But We could give you a cool like NWO theme song somewhere down the line. We'll do that later on. But so Warden, number 3 for you.
They got Junior, but they ain't got Hank.
Long time
gone.
gone.
It's a
They
Grammy winner.
sound tired, but they don't sound haggard.
Yeah. They got money, but they ain't got cash.
They don't have
or whatever.
cash.
Grammy winner. It's a good old fashioned country song.
It's a great song.
I think it's about kind of like what you mentioned before about the parents thing and being away from home. I kind of read this is kind of like going to Nashville to like be a star. It's just like you're
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So
I love that part about they got Junior, but they ain't got Hank. I just love that. I think that's so cool.
yeah, that is pretty cool lyrics.
Yeah. That's a great
All right.
song.
Even though I grew up with Junior, I mean, I love Hank Williams Jr.
Mhm.
Mallory likes Hank Williams Jr.
I like
I
Hank
love
too. I like
Hank
Hank Sr. I like them both, but
Yeah.
I'm a Hank Jr. guy though.
I like him more than Senior, to be honest. Yeah.
But you think about Hank Sr. and you think about all the good stuff he did, and he only died at 29. He died
I
at 29.
know.
He died
It
at
was-
27 or 29. One of the
29, I think.
I think it was 29.
Matter of fact, I
Oh.
just saw something about that the other day, talking about music artists that died way too young. I think it was 29 on him.
Yeah, but he died of heart failure from drinking. Can you imagine
Drinking.
that?
How much do you have to drink at 29?
It's kind of like Andy Gibb at what 30 dying of it. I mean,
Yeah.
how much Jim Morrison at 27? I mean,
Yeah.
my God. I mean, they say your heart only has so many beats. I guess. When I drink a beer, it gets kind of riled up. Imagine the heavy stuff. Whew.
All right, we got another watcher. Henry Ford is in here, not the car maker, but he is. That was his nickname in school, car maker. But Shane, that's all I got to say on that. Anyway, moving on. Number 3 for me. Mallory had it earlier in her list, and I told her I was going to talk about it a little bit more. I Can Love You Better. I mean, yeah, I Can Love You Better than
That's
that.
not in my. That was not in my list.
Was
That
it
was
mine?
in his list.
I was on Ward. I'm looking at
Yeah.
the wrong list. I'm looking at. Okay, I got you. Anyway, Warden's. It was on Warden's list. Gosh, do I have to have another repeat from Ward? That's scary. Torpedo Girl would not make the list.
That's a good song, brother. That's a good
Yeah,
song. Every once in a while, you get it right.
it's pretty much saying she's saying assuring a man that she can love him better and make him forget his previous love. And the chicks are shown performing the song while in the airport lobby. Like you said, they're also shown on an airport baggage claim belt, in a bakery, and on a crowded sidewalk. But I Can Love You Better, we talked about a little bit earlier. But yeah, just off that debut album, and really, I think that was the lead single. That was the first single off that album. So your first take to Disney Chicks.
What a way to kick off the Natalie era, man.
Yeah,
great song.
and just like you said, Laura, this girl named Laura, and I can't remember her last name, was the lead singer before. Can you imagine what she said? They actually did a behind the music on Dixie Chicks years ago.
Look that one up. When VH1
And you
used to play
can't find it. I tried to find me and Mallory.
it's not- wow.
You can't find it anymore. But yeah, they talked to her, and
How bitter was she?
She wasn't bitter.
Oh.
She was, well, at least she wasn't there. But she was like, they came to me and told me they had to move on in a different direction. And
Hey, didn't that happen? Who's that girl that did that song with Bon Jovi? Who Says You Can't Go Home?
Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah, they used to be a 3-piece, and then the girl that
Sugarland.
was there, and they like the girl was in the band, and like they fired her, and I didn't think she sued them.
She just disappeared. Like,
yeah.
but yeah,
Now it's just Natalie's just her, right? The other guy's gone.
The Sugarland does stuff every once in a while, but Jennifer Nettles pretty much is on her own now. Henry Ford said, it sent a message to you. Jim Morrison did more than drink. He said, I did my senior paper on him, so I know.
Wow. Oh yeah. I mean, when you sing about crystal ships, I mean, yeah, you pretty much did everything available.
Yeah, he
But
did.
Hank, but Hank, man, they did those uppers and stuff, man. That's some bad stuff.
Yeah. Nobody called today. I don't know what Henry's talking about there. But anyway, number 2, Mallory.
My number 2 is Without You, and it's on the Fly album. Really, the main thing, I mean, the song itself is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. But the main thing that really stuck out to me is the music video. And me and Daddy talked about this not too long ago. I know he said that the baby had something to do. There's a baby and a pregnant woman in the music video. And the story behind it, actually, like I said, they show a pregnant lady and they show her stomach a lot. Shortly after the music video was made, not put out, but made, the lady gave birth and the baby only survived 4 days.
Yeah.
And the Dixie Chicks were devastated. Like, they were really upset about it. And they told the lady, they were like, we'll make another video because it's a very, sad topic, like, to bring up and everything, to show all over again. And she said, no, like, I want y'all to keep that. Like, it means a lot to me. And so at the end of the music video, they dedicated it to the little boy.
Aww.
And I think his name was Jackson or something like that. It was something like that. But
Jackson Miles Ezell.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's really sad and stuff, but I don't know. Like, I'm glad that the lady said to keep it because it was a great music video and a great song, and
Isn't
it was very
Natalie
nice for them to.
Isn't Natalie naked in this one?
All of them are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, they show them all
Yeah.
pretty much like that. But yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit later, more. Mallory has pretty much said it all there, but I'll talk a little bit more about it later on. So number 2, Warden.
Without You. My number 2. This is one of my favorite breakup songs of all time. This I mean, I can't. This and like "Don't Close Your Eyes" by Keith Whitley, or like if I want a good cry, drinking a bunch of beer. And there is a real cheesy Tim McGraw song that I don't know why, but when I was going through a break, I know we're getting off the thing, but it's Senorita Margarita. I think it's off the Everywhere album. It's just talking about drinking yourself to forget. I mean, Without You, yeah, it's one of my favorite. It's hits the heart, and it's such emotion. It's just a beautiful song.
It is. It's great.
And Henry is saying he loves Mallory's pick, but he is also quoting lyrics from an old country song. You remember that song, Nobody, Warden?
Oh, Sylvia?
Yeah, your nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name.
She's Crystal Gale's sister.
Yeah.
Loretta
Lynn, too.
Yeah.
She
was a one-hit wonder, wasn't she? Like
she was. That was pretty much it right there.
Yeah. That song was huge, though. I remember that in like the 80s.
Yeah. So number 2 for me, There's Your Trouble.
What?
Yeah. Keep seeing double with the wrong one. I mean, I love the video. I love the song. It's fun. It's a fun song. Who had it earlier on?
What? I thought that would have been your number 1.
No.
I didn't have it on mine. It was an honorable mention, though.
Mallory had it earlier on. But yeah, There's Your Trouble. I mean, seeing double. That was just a great lyric to me. You keep seeing double with the wrong one. It was their first number 1 single. In doing so, it became the first chart-topping song with Sony's newly resurrected Monument Records. The first one since February of '78 when the Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers Band, and it was not All to Gold in California, believe it or not. It was
Houston. Didn't that just sound?
I just wish you were someone I love. And it comes up that they were awarded a Grammy for Best Country Performance by a Duo or Group for that performance. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? Great song. There's Your Trouble. Not my trouble because it's number 2 for me. Mallory, surprised that's not number 1, huh?
That shocks me 100% because you always said that was like every time I've asked you.
I'm also a sucker for a ballad. I'll just say it that way.
Your dad has this thing that you get older, you like one thing one week, the next week it totally changes.
It could change in a heartbeat, for sure.
True. I bet you I know what yours is. Your number one is though, but I'm not gonna say it. I bet you I know though. Now that you said that,
Oh yeah.
okay,
You
I have a
probably
good
know.
guess.
All right, so Mallory,
Number
now,
one. Here we
Moment
go.
of truth. You made your debut tonight. Now you're number one.
My number one is "Goodbye Earl."
Okay.
Um, so
Well, so on all of our
that
lists.
I think I think the one thing that really helped me like pick that as my number one was the concert. I mean, it was the last song. Our first song was Sin Wagon. Our last song was
Wow.
Goodbye Earl, and it was like they drew it out at the end because it was their last song and stuff, and it was just everybody. I mean, everybody because we had lawn seats, so everybody below us, above us, and the seats. I mean, they were going insane. It was just like something you could never imagine seeing. And it's the story behind it. The story is funny, and I just love listening to that song. That's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, that's a great song. It's so funny.
Goodbye.
But yeah,
That was
my number one.
all of our lists. All of our lists.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
How many do we have on that all of our lists so far, Stevie?
there's right many of them. I mean, let's see.
I can tell you that I don't think my number one is going to be on either one. Well, I know it's not either one. Mallory.
Sin Wagon was on our list. No, it's not as many as I thought.
Yeah.
Sin Wagon so far is the only one.
We had a lot of like twos, but not
a lot of
threes.
twos, but only 1 3.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is going to be on yours, Stevie. I don't think this is your number one.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I could be totally wrong. But I mentioned earlier how I kind of, when I saw like I Can Love You Better, I like the two chicks on the side, I didn't know their names. I'm still bad with names. So, I mean, I know Natalie's, but I always had kind of a crush on them. This song made me have a crush on Natalie because I love her passion in this song and her voice and the up-tempo and a broken heart tune. Tonight, the heart breaks on me. I love
It's Heartache, ain't it?
Find somebody new. I mean, I love that. That's like
That's a great song.
I used to have a big crush on Mariah Carey when she used to sing stuff like with just the I mean, it's just I like that, and it's like when I heard this song, it's like, man, hey Natalie, how you doing? She was
Yeah.
like, and I just love this song. This is my all-time favorite chick song.
Hold on. Can
Right.
I say something right quick without you getting mad at me, Warden? Is that okay if I say something?
Why did I
How'd
say
you get
something
mad?
wrong? Did I say
Yes.
something wrong? What did I say?
It's Tonight the Heartache's on me.
I said that.
Oh, I didn't even
You
notice.
said
I
heartbreak.
thought he said
No,
that.
I said the heartaches on me.
I think you said heartache.
Yeah, I did.
You
Honestly.
did say you said heartbreak.
No, I said heartache. Tonight the heart. Okay.
We go back.
Okay.
We go back and watch.
Okay.
it.
Grammar police.
Grammar
okay.
police. No,
Yeah.
right
No.
title police.
No, yeah, it's like, dude, come on. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but I just didn't want.
I didn't say missile girl when I talked about torpedo girl. So
Henry said you said heartbreak.
No, I'm the heartbreak kid.
I didn't even
so.
notice he said
You're not
that.
John Michael. Tonight the heartache's on me. That did not make my list.
I told you it wouldn't. Didn't make either one of y'all's list, did it? No.
No. Well, Mallory.
It's definitely an honorable mention.
I just love her voice and her just like find somebody new.
All right. So number
Probably
one.
not as
for
good
me.
as that,
Yeah, you sounded just like her, but
Yeah,
I
I
was like, wow, is Natalie in here?
Yeah, and my vocals is heartbreaking. So yeah.
Pretty much. Maybe that's what you were thinking. Anyway,
You know what I meant, Stevie. Heartache.
I know what you meant. Number
You had to
one,
be- you had to be that guy.
This will be the second three-peat for us. Number one, like I said, Sucker for a Ballad, Without You. Great video, and Mallory told you the story behind that, and they actually put up there after the video's over, they dedicated it to that to that baby, to Jackson Miles Easel. And I think, what they did, offering because making a video is not a cheap thing. And they offered to go, we will totally redo the video. But that lady was like, no, I want it to be there. I want it to be a reminder, celebrate that short life he had.
Right.
But probably the most powerful part of the song is the bridge when they said, somebody tell my head to try to tell my heart that I'm better off without you. But when Marty comes up there and you hear her hit that on her harmony, she always does the high. Emily does the low. But when Marty hits that high note, when she's doing the harmony, oh my gosh, I love that part. That's absolutely my favorite part of any Dixie Chick song out there. And I mean, with this, Henry Ford is not out there. He said, just realize y'all doing Dixie Chick songs, not chick songs. He thought we were
Come
doing
on,
songs.
Mr. Henry.
He was doing he thought we were doing songs just about chicks. We were being really like calling them chicks. Anyway, I think you've had a little bit too much Jim Morrison drink there, Henry. You may lay off of it. But anyway, yeah, the harmonies in this song are probably the best of any Dixie Chick song out there.
Definitely.
And it's simple. I mean, it's not a lot of the fiddle or the banjo or anything like that. It's some in there, but it's just a simple song. Just like the video. The video is pretty simple. Just them in their birthday suits, and it gets an all white background and no makeup. They're not wearing makeup. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but some of that doesn't have that attitude factor that a lot of the Dixie Chick songs have in it either. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Where we're the chicks, but this one is pretty much talking about lost love. I mean, I thought by now the time would take away these lonely tears. I hope you're doing fine all alone, but where do I go from here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that isn't, have you? I'm sure you felt that before, Wharton. I have.
I feel that every day of my life, man.
Oh, sure.
I was like, that's why it's my number 2.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
It's a great song. I mean, I like I said, Mallory, I could have flip flopped number 2 and number 1, but I could not put Without You number 1.
Right. I get that.
All right.
And it's a lot better than the Motley Crue version.
Without You.
Guess
what? I heard Motley Crue commercial. Motley Crue song on was it a dish detergent commercial?
Calgon?
Time for Change. Yes, it was last night. It was the first time I heard it. Now it's time for change. I was like, what? Who would have ever thought?
That's how Dr. Feelgood, right?
Yeah. When you listen to Dr. Feelgood in 1989 or whenever it came out, did you ever think it would be like a dish detergent commercial?
That's about the only song on the album I didn't really like. I didn't like that or Without You.
I liked them
because they're not Motley songs. I mean, not that.
Well, they're ballads, and back
very
then,
bad ballads.
Back then, that was a requirement of any hair metal band that released an album in the late 80s. You had to have at least one ballad on that album.
What I never got about the Without You video is how Tommy Lee's getting water or something. He turns around, there's a tiger. I'm like,
yeah, I don't.
What is this about? Yeah. And he just looks all scared. It's like, what? I don't know.
Mike Tyson was up there with his white tiger or something.
And they were sober in that area. Yeah, they were
totally sober. Totally sober, they said. But yeah, where the tiger come from, I don't know. Yes, we did party a lot to that album, Henry. Dr. Feelgood was one of our party albums for sure.
Is that one of the songs that y'all listen to at Beach Week?
Oh, yeah.
Henry, I know about some of that stuff.
More Than Words was a song we listened to at Beach Week. Extreme? Yes. Yeah.
I wish some of my Beach Week would have been like y'all's. Y'all's were funny. Y'all, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So, next week, we start our venture into the 80s. Me and Warden will be. Mallory can come back if she wants to, but I think the 80s. that 1980 was. She might not be familiar with it. And what we're going to do.
It'd be like the 50s for
Hey,
us.
wait a minute now.
Well, what we're going to do we're going to start off with 1980 and go right through the whole decade. We're going to talk about. We're going to pick our top 5 favorite songs from 1980, and our top 5 favorite movies from 1980. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that went on in 1980, some of the stuff that was popular in 1980. You know, because I was 7 years old, so Star Wars was big with me, I'm sure, back in 1980.
Empire.
A lot of that stuff.
He got me obsessed with Star Wars when I was little. And when I was little in that first house that we had, I had like a all girly room. Like everything in my room was very girly, but
Princess stuff.
Yeah, everywhere. And then in the split middle of my room, it was a Star Wars poster. It was a great,
but she wanted it there. She wanted it there.
I had that Star Wars bedspread from like the first movie. God, I wish I still had that.
Oh yeah,
probably retired right now.
We still have some of Star Wars action figures. And you remember the big Darth Vader head that held your action figures? We have that.
Yeah, the case.
Yeah, the case. We still have that. So
I had that it was like that in a 3PO. But I remember going and getting those back then. I mean, they weren't cheap. They were like $4 back in the 70s. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of money. I usually got them. I usually got a lot for Christmas, and I would get something like some of my birthdays. I would get like one year I got the X-wing for my birthday, so that was pretty cool. And I wish I took care of them instead of throwing them all over the yard. Like, here we go.
I remember when Star Wars came out. I mean, there was nothing like it. I mean, not to be alive, Mallory, it's probably can't understand because you got so much good stuff now. But that was a game changer. I mean, you had Star Trek, but that was kind of cheesy.
Star Trek was just not. It couldn't match Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'm sure.
But I mean, Star Wars. I mean, God, you would tell I saw it 5 times. Well, I saw it 10 times. I mean, and then we go get you had the VHS. I mean, that's all I'd come up and visit my mom. That's all I'd watch is Star Wars. It's like, I mean, I still love it to this day. I mean, I'm a Star Wars geek. I like anything Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
Which is, they got that new one, that new series.
Yeah, I've got to check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rogue One was a great movie. Rogue One was awesome.
The ending was pretty powerful because me and Mallory and my brother went to see it, and actually it was, what was it, her mom or her that we found out died when we were on the way to the movie? Was it Carrie Fisher?
It was Carrie Fisher. No, it was Carrie Fisher.
But yeah, her mom died like 2 days later.
Yeah, it was her mom. Yeah. It was her mom. We found out on the way.
After I saw it, Carrie Fisher died that same day. So I guess I saw it a couple days later.
She had just died when we saw it. Mallory was like, when they did that shot of her at the end, it was like, oh my God.
How freaky was that? How freaky was that with her and the Peter Cushing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's CGI.
I mean, you talk about AI taking jobs. I mean, they're going to be able to bring back Humphrey Bogart or, Clark Gable, and just Marilyn Monroe, do CGI. It's crazy how technology.
Well, Peter Cushing's estate had a lot to say about that too.
They gave it permission though.
Yeah. But
that was, I mean,
that's sort of big like debate on how you would do that, what the rate of pay would be for somebody to do that for somebody. It's a big, like open a big can of worms.
Well, it's like everything else. Like, I mean, our country just doesn't, like, especially with technology, we're just so far behind technology. I mean, it's like the hackers are like ahead of us, which is pretty scary. And they don't have, a lot of the laws are like pre-internet. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah. Look, Henry has taught you. You mentioned Beach Week, and Henry, I didn't tell you this story about Henry, and he's put it up here. You did tell Mallory about me hitching a ride on the trash truck.
Oh my God!
So Henry went to another cottage and stayed there most of the night. So early that morning, when he was going to have to walk back, instead of walking back, he hitched a ride on the trash truck that was riding around. He rode on the trash truck till he got back to our place. So yeah,
That is funny.
Henry was something else. Car maker, I miss you, bud. But anyway, so next week we'll be doing the 80s, and we've actually got a. If you're a fan of the 80s, we've got a really big interview coming up. Probably one of the biggest. A big star from a lot of the 80s movies. He starred in a lot of movies like Adventures in Babysitting, Toy Soldiers, Book of Love was another one. And a lot of people don't know about Book of Love, but what was the other one he was in?
Don't tell mom the
Don't
babysitter.
tell mom the babysitter's dead. The dishes are done, dude. I'm talking about Keith Coogan. And he has been on so many different shows. I mean, he was on Mork and Mindy as a kid. He was on Little House on the Prairie, The Waltons, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island,
Oh wow.
Laverne and Shirley, Knight Rider, Silver Spoons, Chips. I mean, yeah, he's been. And there was one movie he was in that a lot of people don't talk about, but it was so good, and I could go back and watch it. What's the guy's name that played on 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen?
Oh, the Dickie, the guy that was in John
Cryer. Is that
John
his
Cryer.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a movie called Hiding Out, where he was like I don't know if he's on Wall Street or something like that, but he found out some things about bad things about the people he was working for, and they knew they were looking for him, and he had to pose as a high school student, change all his hair and all this stuff, pose as a high school student at his cousin's high school for a while. If you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's really good. But Keith Coogan played his cousin that he came to stay with in that movie. He's been in a lot of great 80s movies.
Oh yes.
I was really excited when he agreed to do it. We've been talking back and forth for a while about doing it, and he actually today we got a date from him, and he sounds like he's really excited to do it too. So
Wow, the Love Boat, man. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
if I was that age,
you
I'd
were
love.
big when you made the Love Boat.
Yeah, man. I would have loved to have met Julie. The
What was
cruise.
her name? Lauren Toes or something like that.
This is the one that held out for more money. Like, okay, you're fired.
You're
Kinda like
fired. We'll get a
They
new
did,
one.
that, they did that to Farrah Fawcett. They didn't like, oh well.
Didn't work for her. So I'm looking at okay, Pittsburgh's playing right now. They're down 16-14 right now to the Browns. But
The Browns will blow it like they did last week.
I don't know. Pittsburgh's offense is pretty anemic right now. They have scored more than I thought they would. It's only in the third quarter, so 14 points that quick.
Dude, I'm picking it right now. Bills are going to win it all. They're that team.
Well, we'll see.
Let's say flame out the end, but man.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. But anyway, Mallory, just want to tell you thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
I have really, really enjoyed, and I told you, I've been telling Mallory for a while she needed to come on, and she needs to start. She could start her own podcast, and I think she would do a good job with it. And you know, we're gonna make sure we tag the chicks in this, and hopefully, if the chicks will watch, they'll maybe we can set up something with them later on down the road interview. That would be pretty awesome there to have those three ladies up there. But yeah, wanted to really do this with Mallory because Mallory is such a big fan, and you know.
Well, I think it sounds like all three of us are. So
yeah,
I mean, her, but yeah.
Yeah, but Mallory has really got into them over the last.
I forgot how much I liked them. Honestly, I haven't listened to them in a long time, and I mean,
see, that's a good thing.
You get older. You just there's so much out there. It's like, oh yeah, they're great. That's the same thing with Tesla. That's how Tesla was. Like, God, I forgot how great they were.
I
will say something. With Natalie, I've told Diddy, her guitar. She has a guitar that I absolutely fell in love with. This is just a 6-string acoustic guitar. It's a dark looking guitar and like a dark brown, and it's got like colors, like different colors on the side of it. Oh my gosh, she has really good taste in how she what.
You lost Warden.
What happened? Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Warden went AWOL. But yeah, I remember you talking about the guitar several times. Here he goes.
Yeah.
What?
There we go.
I dropped off. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
No crap. I mean, I was sitting there like, what the heck?
But yeah, like I was saying, like she has 3 guitars that I'm absolutely obsessed with. It's the acoustic one. She's got 2 electric ones. One of them is all silver. It's like chrome, and then it's got on the whatever it's called, on where the bottom of the strings is this pink. It's all pink down there. That one's cool. And then her other electric guitar is all white. That one's beautiful. She has a great taste in like her style of how she wants her instruments made and everything. I love that. I absolutely love that. If I could meet any country artist, I think it would be her. And I told Diddy that if I ever met her, that, you know, I'm 18 now, I'm at age and stuff, I can get a tattoo. And I told Diddy if I ever met her, I would get her to draw like what tattoo I should get, and I would go get it instantly.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You hear that, Natalie?
Yeah, I mean, if she sees it, if she wants to send me something, that's great too. I mean, I would not mind. I'll go get it this weekend. I mean, not a problem. But yeah, I just love Natalie. Natalie's so cool, and she's funny. And her son, Slade, he's in the band too, and he's awesome. I really enjoyed listening to him. So
Is his dad the one she wrote Gaslighter about?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Hey, how's your mom doing? Don't ask.
What's the name of the song about the boat, Mallory, on Gaslight?
Tights on my boat.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, that'll tell you the whole story about what happened.
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, you listen to that. Make sure you listen to that one, Ward. That'll tell you the story.
Tights on the boat.
Tights on my boat.
It's on the Gaslighter album. It's funny.
It is funny, but yeah, you make sure you listen to that one. But
she's like Taylor Swift. Don't ever go out with her because she'll write a song about you.
It
probably won't be good.
If you go out with her, you better treat her right, because you can get a song right about you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, where they can find us online? Well, you can find us on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're up there. You get to see these ugly mugs, and then although this week we'll probably pick up a few viewers with Mallory up here, but and then you can find us on any of your podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Pandora. We get a lot of. I was looking at the breakdown. We get a lot of listens on Pandora. So if you're listening on Pandora, thank you. Give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to it at. That helps a lot. That gets us out there to gets us up the ladder, I guess. What they say, more views. If people are looking up a certain subject, that'll move us up that list where we're higher up there, and they're more apt to click on that one. Let me see what these two fools are talking about. But then also you can find us on our Facebook groups. That 80s page, which is doing really well. Warden, give all the credit to you on that one. Buddy.
Oh yeah, I'm just a miracle worker. Yeah, I'm just so good.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of followers on there, and then that all things rock, hard rock, and metal. That's another one of Warden's. And then you can find us at On the Fly. That's another one. Or you can find us on Twitter, On the Fly, or you can just DM me or Warden on Facebook.
Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram, we're on there too. So check us out. And
or if you have any show suggestions, I mean, we're always open to stuff.
Yeah, we're open for suggestions. So get it out there. Send us email, thefinalscoreentertainment@gmail.com, and check us out there. But anyway, any last words, Ward?
Thank you, Mallory. It was nice getting to know you more. You got good taste in music with the chicks.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Y'all do too. Definitely.
Yeah, I was just happy. I'm always happy when my number one's different than everybody else's. That's like
he tried
different.
To do
yeah,
that. He tried.
No, I just love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't try this week though. Not on that. That's just been my favorite song since I heard it. It's just
next up
Journey.
Song. Next up Journey top 10.
I can probably give you 2.
No, I think we've already done that on a earlier show before Warden came along.
Damn.
I know. I hate it for
I
you.
I would like to do an Aerosmith one, but I know you've done that already. That's one of my favorite bands.
Well, we can do it again. We can do the Aerosmith again to get your point of view on it. Like I said, it could change month by month, week by week on some of this stuff. But next week, get ready, guys. 1980 will be on board. So
Dun, 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 like the MTV. Dun, dun. I hope we don't get sued
Yeah.
for that. You know.
Henry Ford says, glad to see Mallory on show. It brings some class to the show.
Thank
You have never spoke words more true than what you just said, Henry. She brought some class to the show. Thank you again, Mallory. Warden, see you next week. Guys,
All right.
have a great week, and we'll see you next week on The Fly.
See ya.